You ever find the perfect place to do an introduction video to your Porsche, and then after you park and you get a nice establishing shot and everything, you then find out that you were invading some birds' territory because someone decided to drop a bunch of shrimp. Go away, flying beach rats. Hi! So, some of you might recognize me from the strip club DJ tutorial. Jesus, look at that. I'm gonna get shit on. Anyway, my name's Tim, DJ Tiny Tim. This is my 2008 Porsche 987 Cayman. It's not a hardtop boxer, and that's Boxster. I know I just said Boxer. It is a Boxer. That's how you describe the engine. Boxster is a 986, which is extremely similar, but it's not the same. Don't mind me, I am really not wanting to get crapped on by birds. I don't want my car crapped on by birds. So you guys stay there, and I'll stay there, and everyone will be fine. A lot of people ask me, why did you buy a Porsche in the middle of a pandemic when you are definitely not a frontline worker and you were out of work, which is exactly what happened. So I had a 2018 Dodge Charger, which I absolutely love. Probably my favorite vehicle I've ever owned. It was brand new. It was the first brand new vehicle I bought. Obviously, that was back in 2018. And I intended to keep that vehicle forever. And unfortunately, in September of 2020, an elderly gentleman decided that he would prefer to murder my vehicle and hurt me in the process. So that car is dead, gone, done for. Never to be seen again, except for in videos and pictures of it from the past. I have not received any kind of settlement yet, as I am still dealing with the medical outcome from that, surgeries and yada yada. I can walk currently, which is nice, because that was not always an option for me in the past. I wanted something that had the same sort of effect that that Charger had. It was a V6, but it was the blacktop package. It was silver like this. It was metallic silver. The blacktop package, it was absolutely fantastic. Black wheels, black grille, and a black spoiler. I just loved that car. I had blackout window tint on it, and I had put a light kit underneath it from XK Glow, whom I absolutely love, and they do not sponsor me yet. XK Glow, you know what to do. I try to put them on most of my vehicles. I've got other cool cars, and that one got me the most attention. Hey, that's a nice car, from constantly from everybody. I was told originally that everyone was going to think I was a dope boy. I missed that. I missed the relative sportiness of it, mainly the sportiness brought on by the 8-speed transmission that it came with. I really wished it had a manual instead of an automatic, but that wasn't an option. And I definitely paid for looks over performance, or I would have not got the blacktop package and I would have gotten a Hemi. But at the time, I was just glad to have a new car. I was driving all I had was one of my motorcycles. And I had a destroyed former taxi that I had purchased from the cab company that I worked at. When it died, I very much missed semi-luxury and performance. I had purchased a pickup truck, which you'll see on this channel at some point. It was definitely not supposed to be a cool car. It was supposed to just be the cheapest vehicle available at the dealership, which it was, but it also ended up being a relatively cool car, but it's not a performance vehicle. I've been raised in a performance vehicle household. I have taken on my father's mantle, and yes, I was raised in a Porsche household. We had 3 914s over the years, which is a mid-engine Porsche, also known as the poor man's Porsche. And that was when I learned how to drive stick in, I love Porsches, always have. When the Cayman came out, I drooled over it, but of course I couldn't have afforded it. I think I was working at Papa John's at that time as assistant manager. You're not buying Porsches on Papa John's money. Fast forward to this past year. I knew I wanted to buy a new Charger. That was the plan. I wanted to buy a 2021 Charger because I did not want to own anything that had 2020 on the title of it. Felt like it might be a slightly cursed year, so I said no. But I needed sedan things to do sedan things in, road trip, group driving, driving to work, that kind of stuff. But I also wanted something sporty, and I wanted something that, as I describe it, I wanted a vehicle that I would never be able to get away with a crime in, which my Charger was that, especially at night with the lights on underneath it. Could never have gotten away with a crime in that vehicle. Now, I have something like that. I have a 1929 Ford Model A Street Rod. It is an original steel body and frame with a giant 350, it's got a 350, big pipes down the side, huge Mickey Thompsons in the back. It's one of a kind. It's been in this town forever. Apparently since before I was born. We've owned it. My family has owned it since the early 90s. It was a vehicle I learned how to drive in. Obviously, that would be my, hey, look at me vehicle. But I wanted what I wanted. So I started looking at sports sedans. Really liked the Alfa Romeo Giulia, but I would only have wanted a 2020 or later. Okay, when you buy a Giulia, then you want to buy a Quadrifoglio, which is double the price of a non-Quadrifoglio Giulia, which, you know, that's out of my price range. I didn't want to spend more than, I don't want to spend 40,000, let alone more than 40,000. And a Quadrifoglio Giulia is like 70 plus. Okay, so maybe I'm not going to get a new car. If I don't buy an RT Charger, what am I going to buy? V8 M3 5-speed, 6-speed, manual, whatever the manual one is. That sounds pretty good. Those are a little hard to find, but they are depreciating. My guy out at the Ford dealership who hooked me up with the pickup truck let me know, hey, we've got an M3. And then he told me it was the worst color combination I've ever heard of in my entire life. It was like red over tan, or maybe it was worse than that. I don't even know whatever it was something that I would never want to own. The V8 2008 M3 5-speed with the worst color combination in the world, in my opinion. Red on like light tan is awful. However, I did want to drive it so I could get a feel for the vehicle. I went out there and it was being sold as I pulled in the parking lot. So as I left, I decided to just pop into a couple other dealerships in that area, and the BMW dealership had an M3 that was exactly what I wanted. It had been promised to somebody, but the guy had not put any money on it, and he was supposed to come back the next day. So I specifically said, hey, if he doesn't come back, call me. Problem was, I stopped by right after leaving physical therapy after my car accident, and I looked like a homeless person. And I was driving my pickup truck at the time, which doesn't look like a homeless person's pickup truck, but it definitely doesn't look like someone who's buying a BMW's pickup truck. But I was definitely not treated seriously. Ooh, Porsche going by here. Hey. I'm actually filming this while, yes, the green flag just dropped at the Rolex 24-hour race in Daytona. A little far away from it, plus I got the water next to me, so we're not gonna be able to hear the cars going around. But later on, I'll be able to hear the cars going around, which is kind of cool. I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm directly across the street from the track. That's the track. That's part of the, that's the intro to turn 1, sorry, that goes around. That's a Rolex. That's nice. Unfortunately, I'm not here to enjoy the Rolex. I'm here because a friend, can they really be called a friend if they ask you to go to Target? I had a friend ask me to go to Target. Needless to say, I never got a call back. However, I then realized I miss having sports cars. I said, to hell with it. I'm gonna buy a beater sedan, so I have a sedan. And then I'm gonna look for something sports car, an actual sports car. If I happen to get, if I find a good sedan, then I'll trade in the beater. But otherwise, the plan was to buy a used sports vehicle and then buy a beater sedan that would be traded in next year on a 2021 Charger. Well, I guess now it's this year. First thing I found was the sedan. eBay, I found a cop car in Orlando, former police interceptor, and I got it for a song. I am never gonna sell that car, at least not anytime soon. That car is awesome. I've owned multiple P71s, I've driven other ones when I was a cab driver, and they've all driven okay. This thing is like a hidden, it's a sleeper. It's a sleeper, it really is. It's got the worst paint job you've ever seen. There's literally like huge runs in the paint, and the entire hood looks like a dry lake bed. It's all cracked and just, it's just awful. But this thing was a captain's car, so it was never wrecked. It was taken very, very good care of, and it takes off like a scalded dog. It is astonishing. The thing is a muscle car. It really is. It's a muscle car. I love that car. I don't want to get rid of it. I would have to be getting something amazing as a, and then trade it in for that. Then I found this. Originally not looking for a 911 or any kind of Porsche, but I ended up like narrowing my search down on Auto Tempest. Again, not a sponsor of my channel yet, but Auto Tempest is pretty amazing. Honestly, that's how I got to the eBay link to get the Crown Vic, and that's where I found this as well. It's a mid-engine, it's what I like. It drove nice. The tires were dead. The rear tires were as bald as I'm not. And The front tires are okay, but they all had less than a year of life left in them. So that became part of the bargaining, and I got the price down to a relatively good. Unfortunately, I don't get to pull the Ed Bullion thing and say that we met right in the middle at my price, but we met right in the middle at just above my price. My payments on this are actually less than they were on my Charger, which is cool. Insurance is cheaper too. Thank you to Haggerty. Again, not a sponsor of my channel. Haggerty does both of this and my hot rod, and then I've got real insurance for other companies, other cars. I've had this since November. So let's see what it's like to have owned a 987 for a while, and let's do an introduction to the Cayman. First thing to take into consideration when buying something like this is everything. You got to do your homework. You got to do your research on the vehicle. Actually, I just used the Carfax that they gave me from the dealership, but I still did my research on it. This vehicle spent a lot of its life in Vegas. It was sold in Texas, lived most of its life in Vegas, moved back to Texas, and then wholesaled down to Florida, where I picked it up. It's had 4 owners, I think. Either I'm the 4th or the 5th owner. I have to go take a look. It spent, I think, the first 7 or 8 months of its life as the loaner vehicle at a Porsche dealership in Plano, Texas, which of course at first made me very concerned, because if it's not your car, you don't care about it. One of the first things that I found out when I was doing research on perhaps buying one of these is to worry about the alignment in the rear. It's very, very simple to get this thing out of whack, and then you will just be riding on the inside half of your tires. And sure enough, I got underneath it, and the outside half of the tires were basically brand new, and the inside half were bald as could be. Obviously, one big concern with these is the IMS bearing and shaft. It concerned me at first as well, and then I thought about it. This thing's over 70,000 miles. If it was going to go, it would have gone. If it does go, wow, that would really, really suck. So I'm not going to drop the hammer on this thing ever. I'm going to enjoy driving it. It's not a track car. That's not what this is for. It's not a drag racer. That's not what this is for. So, it's not a Cayman S, which, yeah, obviously I would love to have had the Cayman S. It doesn't have the 6-speed, but it does have the 5-speed, which is nice. This is like middle of the road with options, so I'm very, very happy with where it's at. Other than minor suspension stuff like tie rod ends, and I need axle boots on, I think, the inside and the outside, but there's nothing major that needs to be fixed on this immediately at all. The engine is fabulous. There's almost no oil leaking coming out of it, knock on wood. I'm going to distract this all for a second here. I just looked over at this guy's boat, and at first I saw movement. I'm like, whoa, there's somebody over there. And then I realized it's a wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man, which, if anybody saw my how to be a strip club DJ, The Voice, you'd know that I do the Family Guy wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man thing all the time to keep myself in performance shape as a DJ. So I think it's kind of funny. This is also the only vehicle I have that has stock exhaust. I mean, it has been an accident. When I bought it, I knew about it ahead of time. The front and the right rear side have had some form of work done to them. I have not been able to figure out what. However, if you get real close and you know what to look for, you can see that the front bumper and the hood do not completely match. Front bumper has been repainted. Whatever. Frame's fine. Again, it's not a show car. It's a car for me to enjoy and drive and just love on. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Let's talk about the other issue that I had. An extremely expensive issue. And that is that it came with exactly one key. I hate vehicles that only come with one key, because you lose that and you're screwed. This key is apparently the cheaper Porsche key to replace, and it's only going to cost me like $500 plus. And on top of that, it's like chipped and fading, and I just want a prettier key. My girlfriend got me this nice Porsche keychain to go with it now, which really points out how much this thing doesn't work, but whatever. The buttons still work on it and everything. I love the single exhaust tip that comes with the base Cayman. I actually like it better than the dual exhaust tip that you get with the S, but everyone's got their own opinions. Brakes also. Let's talk about these brake calipers. They are faded, and they are silver, which I find extremely strange, because if you read the sales brochure, which I did, I actually found it online for this vehicle, they came with 3 different brake caliper colors. The Porsche ceramic carbon composite CCC, expensive. The yellow ones are expensive. The Porsche ceramic brakes are what I paid for this car, basically. They're yellow. If you see the yellow, then they've got the Porsche ceramic brakes. If it's red, then it's the upgraded sports brake. They're all Brembo, but some are better than others. And then the base model came with black. You'll notice I said red, yellow, and black. I didn't say silver. Yet here I am with silver brake calipers all the way around. Faded silver brake calipers. Now, yes, there's some black in front of the Porsche word, but that's not the same. I have no problem painting these red, and so that was what I'm going to do. I think red will pop very, very well. I wanted to do the wheels black because I love silver vehicles with black wheels. The Charger was that way. My pickup truck is that way. I wanted to have this as well. Apparently, I really like silver with black, but I think the red will pop whether I go black on these wheels or if I leave them silver. That is a bug that does not want to go away. Bye, bug. Florida, even in the winter, bugs. One more thing. Everybody keeps asking me if I'm going to put lights on it because I'm known as the guy who put lights on his vehicle. My pickup truck has the lights underneath it from the XK Glow. The Charger did. My motorcycle does. My hot rod has white lights in the engine bay and something under the dashboard, so I actually have some form of dome light. All of that is XK Glow. Again, not sponsoring this channel yet. Hit me up, XK Glow. You know I love you guys. I thought about it, and I don't want to put lights underneath this car. I think it would look tacky. I think you put that on cars that don't need to draw attention, that need to draw attention to themselves, not the other way around. I do think it'd be kind of interesting to highlight some intakes. So do some lights around that, there, these 3 intake holes there, light them up so they're backlit from inside. Perhaps the wheel wells, that intake if I can, the 2 gaps on either side of the exhaust. Maybe around the exhaust pipe as well. So like subtle accent lighting instead of it being full undercar lighting might be fine. I am a big man. There is no question about this. I am overweight and I don't like it. Whatever. A big question immediately was, holy crap, am I ever gonna fit in this car? The answer is yes. And on top of yes, I actually fit comfortably and it's fabulous. I have a friend who's actually bigger than me. I gave him a ride and after about a 5-second adjustment period, we both were like, this is really comfortable. So there we go. That is the 987. I'm gonna now go do some driving, enjoy driving this thing around town. So thank you very much for watching. We'll try to get some more videos introducing you to other cars that I own, and then maybe do some stuff with this, because there's some future things planned for every car. Until then, see ya.